Eric Jones from North American Martial Arts. Today I'm going to be taking you through some chuck requirements. These are going to be for our high green belts testing for brown belts. So this is a list of the requirements you need to know. I'm going to start with some basic blocks. Okay. For those, we're going to hold the chucks closed, one in each hand. We want to keep our grip up high, close to the end of the chuck. Okay. So for basic low blocks, okay, we do it very much like our traditional stance low block. Okay, bringing one arm up, one arm across, blocking down. One thing we want to make sure that we do is have the chuck along our arm pointing out towards the direction of our block. All right, we'll do another one and one more. Okay, so those are going to be our our low blocks. We'll move to high block next. Okay, so for our high block, again, very much like our traditional motions. Okay, we're going to bring our arms up, kind of make that T, stepping to our front stance, and we're going to block high, chuck riding along our arm. Other chuck is, of course, chambered at the belt. For another one, I'll come here, block high, one more, blocking up. Notice how the chuck is pointing up in the direction of the block. Next thing is going to be punches. We do our punches. Okay, we're going to step out into our stance and strike with the end of the chuck. Okay, so we're not going to strike with our fists like we would on a regular punch. We're going to strike with the end of the chuck. So this would be our punches with the chuck. Okay, last move on the list for these is going to be what we call a chop. What we're going to do for the chop, it's very much like our inside out knife hand. We're going to bring one arm across. This is going to be the hand that's doing the chop. I'm going to step out, and I'm going to strike out like this. Another one, coming out, striking out. Other hand, of course, chambers at the belt. Okay, one more, and there is our chop. Okay. Next thing we need to know for our brown belt requirements is going to be 3 different clutching moves. Okay, first one being an up and down clutch, which looks like this, starting from the chucks in an up position behind our shoulders. We're going to spin them down and spin them up. So the chucks are going forward, down, and backwards, up. This is our up and down clutching moves. Next thing we're going to do, same movement. This is our horse stance clutching. We're going to go to a horse stance with our legs. We're going to do the same motion with the chucks, swinging them down. And the chucks are going to hit right on the inside of our legs, and then we're going to swing them back up, down, back up, down, back up. One more. Next move, or the last clutching move you'll need to know for brown belt, is going to be side to side clutching. We're going to go ahead and open our chucks. We're going to bring them to one side, and we're going to bringing them across the body in this manner here. Now to add the spin, we're going to spin the chucks downward towards the floor like this. And the chucks are going to be spinning the same direction as we spin them around. So we're going to bring them out away from our body, spin them, and come back. Spin and back. Spin and back. So this is our side to side clutching moves. Okay. Last move on the list for brown belt is double forward figure eights. Okay, starting from the up position behind the shoulders, we're going to figure 8 forward with both of our chucks. We want to use our wrists to flick the chucks to spin them so that we can get a nice tight figure 8 motion. A couple tips on the figure 8s. If you're having a hard time with both hands, go ahead and drop one chuck and start with just your strong hand. Working your figure 8, of course, you can start in a big motion. So for beginners, we're going to start in that big motion, and then we're going to tighten up to a smaller motion. Take some practice. So you're going to want to start with your strong hand. Then you're going to want to try your weak hand. Same thing, we can start big and work our way smaller. And then eventually we want to try both hands. Both hands can take some practice. Can be a little bit frustrating, but just keep at it and you will get it down. One tip on the forward figure 8, We want to make sure our grip stays high on the chuck, close to the chain or rope, depending on your chucks. Okay? What I find is students' hands will slide down a little bit, and then before we know it, our figure eights look like this. Doesn't look as good. We want to stay nice and high on the chuck so we can get a nice, tight figure eight.